$478,544. That's how much I'm planning to make this year on Facebook and Instagram. And in this video, I'm breaking down the exact tool and posting system I'm going to use to hit this crazy number. And I'm not just going to show you the tool, I'm going to show you the exact workflow. What I post, how I schedule it, how I batch it, and how those numbers connect to real revenue. So if you're ready, let's get straight into it. And just to prove that I'm not guessing, let me show you a few things. Starting with Facebook, this is my earnings for the month of January, just over $20,000. As you can see, it is down from the previous month, but I'm not currently freaking out. But it is why I'm using a more conservative number in my projections. Now let's head over to Instagram. This is something I haven't really talked about much on the channel, but I got invited to their performance bonus program over a year ago. Initially, it was similar to the ads on reel program that they have in Facebook, and I was getting paid for reels. Well, they discontinued that, and then they went to paying for just posts and carousels, so basically images and carousels. And I've had access to this for a while now. Didn't take it seriously, much like Facebook content monetization early part of last year. It wasn't until early this month in January, or I guess like previous month, where I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna start posting to Instagram to see what happens. So far in February, it's been working out pretty good, but I want to focus on my January numbers. The first 2 weeks in January, it was just over 1,300, and then the second 2 weeks, just under 3,000. I took a screenshot so you can see my total earnings in January for $43.44. So if you add both of those together, we're looking at about $24,000 a month. In addition to what I'm making on Facebook content monetization and the Instagram performance bonus program, I've also already landed a $50,000 brand sponsorship. This is a brand that I've already worked with in the past, and they're only paying me to post both on Facebook and Instagram. And right now, with me having just over 450,000 followers on Facebook and approaching 100,000 on Instagram, I feel like it's a reasonable assumption that I'll be able to land another $50,000 in sponsorships for the rest of the year. And then I asked ChatGPT, what's a realistic assumption that I can guesstimate what I'll make this year? And I base this on my current revenue numbers and also assuming that I'm going to grow on both Facebook and Instagram. And here's some of the numbers that it gave me based on different growth projections, whether I'm looking at a 4% growth rate, 6%, or 8%. I went the more conservative route. So that's where I got the $478,544. And just so we're clear, all we're talking about right now is Facebook content monetization, Instagram performance bonus, and brand sponsorships. This has nothing to do with any revenue I'm making here from YouTube or my course sales or any coaching that I'm doing. And for right now, this doesn't factor any revenue that I'm hoping to make by driving traffic from Facebook or Instagram to my website. But that will be something we can talk about in a future video. Now that you've seen the proof and also a little bit of some context behind my thinking and my rationale, let's talk about the tool that I'm using and the system behind it. The tool I'm using is PostPlanner. I've talked about this in previous videos. When I initially started, I was using Buffer. And Buffer is great. Buffer is cheap. Buffer gets the job done. But there were just certain features about Buffer that they didn't offer that I needed. And to be honest, I didn't know that I needed them until I tried PostPlanner. Let's get one thing out of the way. If you're a beginner and you're still trying to figure out is Facebook content monetization for you, you don't have to pay for Buffer. You don't have to pay for PostPlanner. You can use Meta Business Suite. But if you're at a point where you're trying to schedule 8 to 12 pieces of content, or like me, over 20 pieces of content, you need a tool like Buffer or PostPlanner, unless you just want to drive yourself crazy. Let's go ahead and jump into my dashboard looking at PostPlanner. So the first thing let's go ahead and look at is my plan. So here is my current content schedule, how much I'm posting. You can see here, I post at midnight, and then 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., all the way up until 11 p.m. And if you'll notice, each of these is color coded. So right now, these are different buckets. Now we'll talk about buckets here in a second. But basically the gist is this. These are different types of content that I'm posting. I then decide what time of day do I want these to post. So for example, we've got text posts, which are basically just that. They're text posts. There are no images, just text. And then I have this Facebook and IG square posts. So with text posts, those are going straight to Facebook. I'm not posting those to Instagram, obviously. And with these square posts, these are going both to Facebook and Instagram. And the thing that you'll find out with Meta Business Suite, and also what I found out with Buffer, is that I couldn't create these different types of buckets of content. But here, I've already decided when these pieces of content are going live, all I have to do is fill the bucket. Let's go ahead and look at one of my buckets as an example. I'll click on buckets here, and let's look at this FGIG square post bucket we talked about earlier. So right now, I have synced my Facebook page and my Instagram profile or Instagram page to this bucket. Now, if I wanted to, I could also connect my Threads account. I could connect my Twitter account. You can connect multiple social media profiles to these buckets. And as you can see right now, my bucket needs refilled. So right now I've got nothing going live on my Facebook page, but if I click over on Instagram, you can see I've got a post going live at 4, 11, and then tomorrow at 6 a.m. And the big difference here compared to Buffer is that Buffer, you can pre-select time slots. So with that regards to PostPlanner, it's similar. But once again, the big difference here when you compare this to Buffer is that Buffer, you can select predetermined time slots. So that is very similar. So that way I knew that when my text posts are running low, I can fill those text posts. Or if my screenshot bucket is feeling low, I can fill it with screenshot. And at the time of this recording, Buffer did not offer that solution. So that's a look at my posting schedule. But let me show you another feature that makes PostPlanner amazing. When you're trying to publish as much content as I am, 20 plus posts per day, there are times where it can be difficult to get caught up. As you can see, I've got one bucket right now that needs to be filled. One of the things that people just don't know this about Facebook is that the average Facebook post has a very short shelf life. A good post is only going to have traction for about 4 to 7 days. Some die off quicker. Some may last a couple weeks if they're really good. But let me tell you, that is super rare. So one way that can really help not getting burned out and not trying to find or create new content is that you can republish existing content. And let me tell you, being a former blogger, also being a YouTuber, the idea of republishing an older video or an older blog post just doesn't make sense, right? Because how are you going to publish an old post and actually get traction from it? Well, that's exactly what you can do. I have republished the same piece of content multiple times, and I will tell you, most of the time it gets traction again, especially if it's a good post, and I get paid again. But how do you know it's a good post, and how do you keep track of all those? Well, that's the beauty of PostPlanner, is because you don't. Let me show you what I mean. So let's go back to the same bucket here. And now we're going to click on Post It. So when we click on here, we have access to every single post that has been published in this bucket ever since you've been using PostPlanner. So I switched over to PostPlanner, I think it was in October. So every single post that I've ran through this bucket is here. And you have this tool over here where you can click on and sort out your content. So here, this is time, right? So if we want to look at what is the first post I ever published, looks like it was October the 25th, but we're not as interested in that. We want to look at which post has given us the most likes or the most shares. We'll start with most likes. So this is the least amount of likes. So this one only got 5 likes. So I'm probably not going to publish that one again. Now we're going to look at what is the content that has got the most likes. So if I start scrolling down here, I can see this one got 4,700 likes, got 480 shares. The second one here was published on January 29th. It got 2,600 likes, 438 shares. This one, another one on October 29th, got 2,300 shares. Do you see how crucial this information is? Now, the time of this recording, it is February 4th, so I'm probably not going to republish this. And everybody has a general rule of thumb, but for me, I don't want to republish something unless it's at least 30 days old. Now, there are a few times where I break in that rule, but for the most part, that's what I stick to. So let's say that you want to republish this one because it did good. Why not republish it again? All you have to do is click on the little 3 dots here, click re-add to bucket, and boom, it has been re-added. That's literally how easy it is. So just to give you an in real life example, when I use this tool, it was a couple weekends ago. My son had a makeup basketball tournament, and I knew we were just going to be busy with family stuff that weekend. And even though I had a bunch of content that I could have used ChatGPT to publish, I just didn't feel like it. So all I did was go through all of my old posts. I went back a month, at least a month, maybe a few months, and I started finding content that I could republish. And since it's all here in PostPlanner, all I had to do was click, just like you saw. And within 15 minutes, maybe less, I had 3 days of content already scheduled. That's how easy it is. Now, I should also mention you can do this in Buffer as well, but where you can't do this is Meta Business Suite. That's why having a scheduling tool like this that also shows you the analytics of the stuff that's actually working or resonating with your audience is so important. Let me show you something in real time just to show you how important it is whenever you upload content to a scheduling tool like PostPlanner, is that all the content is there. So initially when I started PostPlanner, I had this bucket called the GFC screenshots, and all this was being posted just to my Facebook page, was not being posted to Instagram. So if I wasn't using a scheduling tool, I'd have to go to my Facebook page, keep scrolling, or try to go through my analytics and see which posts were working, and if I wanted to repost any of those to my Instagram page. It's doable, but it's a lot of work. So if you look at my Instagram page right now, you can tell that I've been posting screenshots, and a lot of them. So I went to my GFC screenshot bucket, went to posted, sorted through all the likes, and just started to find the ones that did really, really well. Now, a lot of these have already been reposted, but I'm pretty sure this one wasn't. Let me show you how I would repost this to Instagram, right? I'm going to click on the 3 dots here. We're going to copy the post instead of re-add to bucket. We then want to select which bucket we want this to share it in. So we're going to select the FGIG square post because I know that was also posting to Instagram. Now for right now, I don't want to republish to my Facebook page. So I'm going to deselect Facebook to make sure it's only being shared to my Instagram account. Then I click on duplicate and add posts. And just to show you how that works, we're going to go back over here to this bucket. We're going to click on Instagram so you can see. Now this post is scheduled to go live tomorrow at 8 o'clock. My hopes in showing you all this, just how easy it is to republish content, to see what content's working. Because when you really ramp up your scheduling, you're going to want something like this to help you stay sane. All right, maybe based on what I've showed you thus far, maybe you're not convinced that PostPlanner is worth the money or that it's worthwhile investment. In case you're there, let me show you one more thing. When you log into PostPlanner, you click over here on content, and what you get is a gold mine. In a video I recorded last year, I shared how using this tool, I made $3,500 because I found a piece of content that went viral on somebody else's page and I redid it, repurposed it as my own. This is such a great tool where you can get competitor analysis on so many other pages. And instead of going to their page and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, trying to find the content that actually has worked on their page, you can come here and you can find the content that's working on their page and then redo it. Please hear me when I say this. I'm not saying use this tool, find the content that went viral and then just copy as is. You want to use it as inspiration to repurpose and recreate in your own voice, or using ChatGPT or Canva to recreate it as your own. Bottom line, don't steal other people's content. Just to show you how good it is, instead of looking at somebody else's Facebook page, we're going to look at my own. So I typed in my page. Here's what came up. I've got a lot of spam pages in here. And sometimes for whatever reason, it doesn't always show the fan count accurate. It shows me of having just under 24,000 where I've got 455,000. So not sure what's going on there. Either way, let's click on my page and I'll show you the gold mine. So when you're doing competitor analysis, you got a few things that you can look at. We'll first start with the drop down here. You can select between videos, images, articles, or text posts. In addition to that, you could look at the time period, whether something was posted in the last 24 hours, 1 to 3 days, 4 to 7 days, 8 to 30 days, 1 to 12 months, and then 1 to 3 years ago. From there, you can sort between stars, likes, most recent, and shares. So right now we're looking at image posts that are on my page that were published in the last 1 to 12 months. So this one got 90,000 likes, 46,000 likes, 41,000 likes, 41,000 likes, 25,000 likes. So if I was doing research on my own page, what would I do? Looking at the post here, I'm going to probably copy this, paste it into ChatGPT, have ChatGPT create a brand new image, offer my own spin, and then publish it on my page. But let's say that you want to publish viral reels. You can look at the reels I published over the last 1 to 12 months and see which ones are getting the most likes. Let me go ahead and say it again in case you weren't listening. That means you're not going to go to my page, download my reel, upload it as your own. No. That's called copyright infringement. What you're going to do is use my posts or my reels as examples and then recreate it as your own. But now instead of trying to guess, like, man, is this post going to work? Or is this actually going to resonate with my audience? You can see on other people's pages, what is the content that people are engaging with. This is such a cheat code that will save you hours upon hours of time. And this is a tool within PostPlanner I use multiple times per week. And for me, I'm using it for content inspiration. I'm going to quickly run down the different plans that PostPlanner offers. They've got the free, starter, growth, and business. So initially when I signed up for the free trial. And I can't remember if it was the starter or the growth, but if you do want to test it out, they do have a free option. And if you're like me, if you're trying to cross-post both through Facebook and Instagram, you're going to need at least the starter plan here at $7 a month. And for me, I'm currently paying for the business plan. I'm not paying $57 a month because there is a coupon code, which I'll show you here in 1 second. And the reason why I'm doing that is when you start scrolling down, you start seeing the different upgrades that they offer. You got scheduling plus and also the content basic and the content plus. And for me, I'm currently paying for the business plan, even though I'm not currently paying the $57 a month because I did sign up with a coupon code, which I'll talk more here in a sec. And here's why I'm currently paying for the business plan. So you start scrolling down and you have the scheduling plus, which is a big thing. And then also you have the content basic, content plus, and also analytics. So what happens here when you're trying to look at a page and get competitor analysis, anything that's older than 7 days, you're not going to get access to. I remember initially I was trying to get away with, I think either the starter plan, maybe the growth plan, but quickly realized if I want to do real competitor analysis and find access to posts that are older than that 7 days, I need to pay for the business plan. Obviously, if you're starting out, you don't have to go there. You can always try the free plan or even start with the starter plan. Now, since I am a finance guy, I never like paying full price. So anytime that I can get a coupon or some sort of coupon code, I'm going to take advantage. So when I got got to a point where I finally got to a point where I realized like I need the business plan. I need to upgrade. I found this coupon code in somebody else's video or somebody else's post to make sure that I'm going to save some money. And after your 7-day free trial, if that's you and you want to upgrade, you can use my coupon code JeffR25 and you can save 25% off. That 25% only applies to your first payment. So if you choose monthly, you're only going to save on that first month payment. But for me, I signed up for a year. Now for you, I totally get not wanting to do that initially until you test it out. So at least try out the 7-day free trial and see if it works for you. The other thing with PostPlanner 2, which I'll be talking about in a future video, is that if you're trying to run multiple pages, this tool is amazing. So something that I'll be doing here and sharing my results is I'm going to be starting a brand new page on Facebook, starting from 0. And I want to see how long does it take me to get monetized. I couldn't imagine trying to run multiple pages using Meta Business Suite or anything else other than PostPlanner. It truly is a game changer. If you want to test it out for 7 days and get that 25% off, once again, check the link in the description. All right, y'all, hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, peace.